The Chapter 3 Season 2 build challenge is finally done, and this season's entries were absolutely incredible. We have all sorts of stuff from Doctor Strange, to the IO versus the Seven, to Moon Knight, to insane Assassin's Creed maps, to crazy battle buses, some of the best parkour maps we've ever had in Fortnite history. There are a lot of categories to go over, so let's get going. Let's start off with Doctor Strange, one of the more popular categories. Lots of amazing builds in this one, and there were a ton of people that built Doctor Strange's private residence, the Sanctum Sanctorium. Like, seriously, there are a lot of these, and some of these were just absolutely mind-blowing. This one by Zwander is just totally next level, but there were so many other great ones, and so many other cool builds, especially with all of the buildings coming in at different angles, epic portals, and just insanely good builds in the Avengers universe. Now we've got a couple of maps with codes, so let's take a look at those. This map by Logwano is a good one to change into your Doctor Strange suit and then just go and look around. This is mostly an artistic build, but I thought it was cool that it was low gravity and I could also just fly around and look at the cool different portals. This map by MyCow Gaming is a quick but fun little experience where you portal into different worlds and fight 3 different bosses. Don't worry, it's impossible to die as you don't have any health, but it's fun to bring back balance to the metaverse and look at the cool mechanics in the map. Alright, now let's talk about parkour. At the beginning of the season, we got a new parkour mechanic including sprinting and mantling. I've already done a whole other video showing off some really cool maps, but this is such a game-changing mechanic that a ton of you have built maps on this, and even just demonstrations of what the parkour can do and how cool it actually is. I think this is probably one of the best updates we've ever gotten in creative mode. It just brings a whole new element to the movement of the player, which completely changes maps and what we can do in creative mode. So I'm really impressed with all of the amazing stuff that I've seen out there. There's definitely quite a few maps in this category, so let's get into those. First, let's start with Neverty, and I've already shown this map in another video, but he's come out with another fast parkour map that is absolutely incredible, and I highly encourage you guys to go and play it. Kansas submitted a map that has a lot of really cool levels that shows off the parkour mechanics, but also challenges you just enough to help you get used to everything. It's not too hard, but it is very fun. This death run by RLG is really unique. I thought this was a really cool death run because you go through portals, and each portal takes you to a different level. You have to figure out how to beat each one, and it progressively gets harder. This was a very different map. You start off insanely slow, but every step you take gets you closer to a new level that increases your speed. As your speed increases, you're able to do different parkour around the map. Eventually, as you complete parkour, you earn money and you can buy upgrades. I thought it was a really cool mechanic to level up, the point where you eventually have these cool effects behind you. This map by Jekyll Hyde really kind of blew my mind. It's a shout out to Assassin's Creed where you have to go around and find hidden scrolls that are scattered all over this amazing town. It looks so beautiful. Here's some footage of their original submission with the Assassin's Creed skin, and it just looks so good, guys. Seriously, go in and play this map. It is amazing. This is a super unique parkour map where you have to find your way to the top of a tower and then control the point for longer than another team. It's a beautiful cyberpunk type style city, and I really had fun trying to figure out how to get to the top of the tower. The last one in this category I've shown off in another video, but it's just so good I had to show it again. It's by 12th, and it's a complete and utter amazing cinematic experience. Just go put in the code and have the time of your life. Now let's switch gears just a little bit and look at some of the vehicles we got this season. I'm gonna start with the drill, and while we didn't actually get the drill in creative mode that we can drive, we got the prop, and there was a lot of submissions around this prop. Not just the prop by itself, but people building their own drills, creating animations with the drills, and just having fun with this really cool prop. Similarly, we got the blimps, and there was a lot of really great submissions around the blimps. The blimps attacking, the blimps going down in flames, blowing up the blimp, and just all around fun with the blimps. There was even one map where you go in as an IO member and you have to infiltrate one of the blimps and then blow it up. It's really epic. You should go check it out. There was also a ton of submissions around tanks. All of your custom tanks, from ones that could function in fire to just really cool builds. Like, seriously, some of these tanks are next level. I don't even think I could build anything that looks this good. Tanks were definitely a cool vehicle to get in the game that we can drive around and make maps with. But your builds of your own tanks are way cooler to me. Similarly, we got a lot of submissions around the battle bus. Most of these submissions came before we got the battle bus just a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of these are really creative with your your own custom kittings of the bus, like truly souped up buses. I loved some of the submissions that look similar to like a Mad Max. Like this one is really great. But seriously, a lot of these submissions were just really fun to watch in the recreations of the buses versus the tanks, or just fun individual buses. Now for a few of the random categories, starting with my favorite, the Segway. Home Art Mall Cup will always have a special place in my heart, and of course just riding a Segway around the mall. It's a small category, but I love it. Moon Knight is next on this list, which I'm so glad we got the skin in Fortnite because I love that show. And if you watch the show, you'll definitely recognize a lot of these different scenes that I'm showing you right now. Like seriously, you guys did so good on these builds. Prowler is another skin that I was not expecting, but it was very welcome to have in the Fortnite universe. I really love anything from the Spider-Man universe. It's one of my favorites. Orisa was another skin that got quite a few builds. She's a lost princess from a forgotten realm of warriors. We got some cool castles and maps with really awesome backstory to really do justice for Orisa. Now this map I put in the random category because I wasn't quite sure where to put it, but it's a really cool zombie survival game where you're just trying to survive. You can upgrade your guns, you can craft things, you can find things out on the map, but if you like to grind maps like this is a good one for you. The Origin gets his own category, not because there was a ton of builds for him, because he is like the beginning of it all, and also because Maestro Shark made his entire theme song in Fortnite. Let's just listen for a second. Maps with codes in this category. First is the origin story of, well, the Origin. It's a fun little adventure you should go and play through. The second was actually a really hard map by Son of Raceface, mostly because you have to sneak around henchmen that just keep finding you. But it's a really cool map that kind of has that old school escape map feel to it. This next map kind of introduces our final category. It's a season 2 live event that never really happened. It's a really fun take on what it could have been and has some really cool mechanics to just sit back and watch. But it introduces our biggest category, which encompasses the 7, the IO, and then of course the IO versus the 7. There were so many entries into these categories. It included everything from the houses of the 7, to unique vehicles that the 7 has created, to really cool 7 bases, hovercrafts, and even a recreation of the sanctuary. The IO got a ton of love with all sorts of amazing bases. This one uses the prop maneuver expertly. I mean, this is so cool. I love this base. It really reminds me of the Agency, but with its own unique spin. We've got this really cool boss fight in an IO base, really cool IO vehicles, and awesome secret passages. It's clear to me that if you guys had to pick sides, you would probably choose the IO because you love building about them. But then it came down to the IO versus the 7 in an all-out war. I love all of the depictions of the major battles and everything else surrounding this blood feud. There's a few maps in this category that actually had codes. This one is a cool base. You should definitely go and check it out. And this one is a really big map that you can run around, you can fight other players. I feel like it'd be a really good hide and seek map, but you can choose what to do there. And this map is a really cool death run. It had a really cool opening to it where it was a little more open world, but then you get into it and the adventure just keeps getting better and better with really cool mechanics, levels, and just things that you need to do. As I loved this build competition, it was so fun to see all the things that you built. I wish I could include everyone that had entered, but I'm so glad I got to see all of your builds. I can't wait for next season.